Today I'm going to begin to show you the most cutting-edge proven methods and practices for reprogramming the subconscious mind that will enable you to have success in business or in any area of life. Imagine that you're standing in the street and you notice that a big truck is headed toward you, barreling toward you at full speed, not slowing down. And you're just observing that this truck is moving toward you at full speed and is getting closer, and it's not slowing down, and you're there in the street and it keeps getting closer and closer, going faster and faster. What would you do? Would you consider whether you believe that you would be fatally injured if the truck hit you? Would you experience any kind of inner conflict or lack of congruence about what you would do? Would you just stay in the position where you are and just observe it coming toward you as you were thinking about it? Most likely, you would move your body out of the way, and chances are you would be successful in that project of moving your body out of the way. When threatened by danger, and when you know something is true that's happening in your environment, your body will move itself out of the way. In this situation, when your survival is threatened, your body would move itself out of the way without you even thinking about it. Your body would be moving itself unconsciously. And the reason is because your subconscious mind is wired into your nervous system, into your entire body and your brain. And the survival of the body is one of its primary objectives. One of the primary objectives of the subconscious mind is the survival of your body. That's why in modern psychology and personal development, people have learned to harness this power. The power that would cause you to move out of the way of a truck. Once you learn to walk or ride a bicycle or drive a car, after you learn it, it becomes unconscious. And you can be engaging in this activity of unconsciously driving your car, while consciously you could be doing other things after you develop that ability, that you can drive a car without even consciously thinking about it. And this ancient connection that human beings have with their subconscious mind can either help you to create unstoppable success whenever this knowledge is harnessed and trained into your body and into your mind, or it can also cause inner conflict and self-sabotage, basically shutting down your ability to achieve success at what you consciously intended to do. Why is it that when it comes to things that we as human beings want to change in our lives, often we're not moving our bodies, we're not behaving, we're not thinking and feeling in the way that would cause it to actually happen? Why is it that often we don't experience that our bodies are moving with the same unconscious certainty that you would have to get yourself out of the way of a moving truck, but instead part of us wants to work on achieving our goals and the other part is resisting it? Why do people know consciously what they intend to do in their lives, and yet they still have difficulty getting their minds and bodies to cooperate in achieving their goals? Imagine that you're walking in a hot desert for 3 days with no water in sight anywhere, and then suddenly after the 3rd day you see this beautiful oasis appear, and then as you move toward it you realize that there is fresh spring water coming out of the ground. What do you think that you would do? That's right, you would go to the water and drink it. But when people decide to make a transformation to get better results in trading or in business, they may find that even though they know what to do, they're not taking the actions that they should take. Or they have inner conflicts and limiting beliefs holding them back, blocking their success, and often just failing to achieve the results that they consciously intended. Notice how true this is of people in general. If I were to describe how you could totally transform yourself and achieve all of your desires and intentions, your goals for your life, how many people would just say, whatever, I'm not interested in that. And then they just go back to doing what they were doing before, same old thing. No, not interested in that. Why would that be the case? How could that be possible? So that's the one step that you will have to overcome today if you're going to move forward. So today is the day that you are going to discover that changing your subconscious beliefs or changing your subconscious programming is the thing that would enable you to get what you now want. And you would need to believe that as if your life depends on it. If you went through your whole life and did not achieve your purpose, would that be okay? If so, chances are maybe you just haven't gotten really clear and congruent about what your true passion and purpose is. Because when you are clear and congruent about what your true passion and purpose in life is, you should feel that it is like a life or death situation, that you must achieve that. And this will happen in a way that will change the way that you move your body, not just sitting there saying, yeah, I agree with that. You would actually change the way that you move your body. You would do something different. And you will take action and change so that your behavior from this point in your life, you will never be the same again. Well, how often do people make a change where they're never the same again? And what would need to happen in order for you to do that? Let's assume that if you're watching this video, you desire some kind of a change. For most people, by the time that they're 6 years old, their subconscious programming is complete. And they've already developed their subconscious beliefs about their own identity and their relationship with the universe. And by the time they get into high school age, their lives are set in a track that will remain fairly consistent and predictable for the rest of their lives. And so if I were to ask most people, would you like to have a complete transformation? Or even, are you interested in a little bit of personal development? Most people would just say, I'm okay, I'm good, I don't really need anything, because they haven't found a reason to want to change. And because their thinking patterns and behavior are set and will likely stay the same for the rest of their lives. Now, this is extremely fascinating, and tell me if you have experienced this yourself, that most people are not motivated to change unless they're in extreme pain or feel that their life is in danger. For instance, I experienced having a family member become addicted to drugs, and his life became more and more trapped in this lifestyle of instant pleasure from the use of drugs. And once you're in that habit, it's very difficult to get out of it. Most people can't give up coffee or stop eating carbs because of the gratification that they get from it physically. But when you're addicted to powerful drugs, it can be very, very difficult. At one point, he realized that he was in a life or death situation. He experienced that he was at that rock bottom point in his life, and that if he didn't make a change, he was going to die. And that is the point where he put forth the effort and experienced a major transformation and has never gone back to that destructive lifestyle again. Now, incidentally, another relative of mine became addicted to heroin, and he was the same age as me. This was many years ago. And he struggled with this addiction until eventually he did make the decision to change his life, to change his lifestyle, got a new career, and he was becoming clean and happy and doing well. And then one day he decided that he would use the drug one last time before moving forward with his commitment of this new lifestyle. And that night he died, and it was very tragic. He was young, and he had already made the decision to change. But if he had had the tools that I'm about to show you, he could have made those changes and transformed his life. You don't have to be addicted to drugs to make a change in your life. Unless a person has some kind of a life-threatening experience where the pain of not changing is greater than the pleasure or the comfort of sticking to your old behavior, the person will likely remain in the same behavior patterns. Most people don't feel a strong desire to change, so they just stay in the same behavior patterns throughout their entire lives. A few people seek out help from neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, and psychological therapy and things like this, but they do it so that they can quit smoking or lose weight, or maybe they need help with relationships, or they want to make more money. But are those the only things worth the effort of making a change? Is that all? Does anyone want to make a change just to become more enlightened? Sometimes I wonder if I'm speaking to the right planet, but to me, I would think, wouldn't people want to make a change just to become more spiritually enlightened? How often do we see someone 100% motivated to become a better person, and they're not in pain and they have no significant challenges in their life? Well, that's why we need to learn to appreciate our problems and challenges, if that's what it takes to motivate us to want to change. For those people who are not motivated to want to change, they'll have to go through their entire life until they're ready to die, and then they'll realize that they could have done something different, and then it will be too late. Most people don't make any significant changes in life unless something catastrophic happens, or something happens that causes them to experience extreme pain or misfortune. Isn't that sad? Do you believe that a wise person could have a desire to make changes even if they're not in any pain? Even if they're not experiencing any challenges? So, in order for you to now make a change related to the subject of changing your subconscious beliefs or programming, and you would need to fully believe that this is how you could get what you want. And secondly, you would need to experience some kind of a motivation that would cause you to make a change in your behavior. Changes that would lead to adopting new behavior patterns, such as doing some NLP practices regularly. Most people aren't going to do some NLP practices regularly unless they have some kind of a motivation to do it. And the change that you would need to experience would be something that now, for the rest of your life, you will be aware of your subconscious beliefs and work to change them. This will be something that will be ongoing from now on. You will become aware of your subconscious beliefs and you'll be working to change them. It's a lifelong process. So that seems like I have a big responsibility to make those things happen in you, and that I would need to do that right now at this point in this training to get you to the point where you're motivated enough to even consider watching one video and doing some kind of a practice. Well, fortunately for me, I don't accept that responsibility. Only you can do those things. If you don't have that motivation, if you don't have that desire, then you'll just miss out on ever experiencing any real transformation in your life. But I do understand that there are a lot of people who just don't know that this is the way that you can change yourself. I do understand a lot of people are not aware that this is what works, and that doing what I'm about to show you in all the next videos is absolutely the thing that will cause you to have the transformation that will enable you to get the results that you're looking for. And I will show you how to create the level of motivation for yourself for you to make the changes in your behavior, such as practicing these techniques for changing your subconscious programming, so that doing this is something that you will feel the same level of motivation for as you would with a life or death situation. And that's to make sure that you actually choose to do these things. So what kinds of scenarios do we see where people actually make a change? Let's say a person enlists in the military, and when they arrive, they will find themselves in a situation and an environment where their personality and behavior will change immediately. The moment that a new recruit steps off the bus at boot camp, they will be confronted with these drill sergeants and this big Smokey the Bear hat, they will be confronted with these drill sergeants who have been trained to use psychology to instill total discipline of behavior. The recruits are made to get into a formation, get in lines, stand at attention, respond to commands, and right away, from the very beginning, the recruits are taught that if they don't follow the authority of military commands, the consequences will be severe. And that's the difference between an average person who is sitting on a couch watching TV and a person who is in military boot camp. The person in boot camp immediately adopts a new behavior, following orders, and does everything that they're expected to do. And the training goes on 24 hours a day. Even the process of eating and sleeping is done in accordance with military schedule and command. They get in bed and out of bed according to that schedule. In military boot camp, the drill sergeant would come into the barracks or the dormitory at 5 o'clock a.m. and would just shout out, "Get up!" and then proceed to walk through the dormitory and just start dragging people physically out of bed, throwing them onto the floor. And then everyone had 5 minutes to get themselves dressed and in formation out front, where they would get in formation and march with flashlights swinging in unison in the dark as they march their way to eat breakfast. In this type of environment, people quickly adapt to having new patterns of behavior because they have no choice. If you still don't realize that the key is reprogramming the subconscious mind, then I would suggest that you continue with whatever it was that you were doing before. There is enough empirical evidence now widely available. If you need some convincing, I would suggest you go to your computer and go to Google and type in some keywords, and within 5 minutes, you will know that this is true. So the rest of this training is for people who know that this is true and want to get results. But I do understand that there are people who just aren't aware that this type of science is now mainstream accepted stuff that people know. And that the techniques that I'm about to show you in all the rest of the videos are absolutely the way that you can now get the results that you want. So I will provide a few examples of how you can get the proof that you need so that you can have that proof, that confidence that would give you the motivation to do the practices. So in the next video, I'm going to show you a few examples that will remove all doubt that this is how you're going to get the results that you want.